Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 4 of November 2024. A new bill expected to be introduced in the Parliament's winter session seeks to amend bank nomination laws, allowing up to 4 nominees for fixed deposits to ease the distribution of funds after the account holder's death. The bill would offer 2 nomination options simultaneous, where nominees receive specified shares, and successive, where one nominee replaces another upon death. Vodafone Idea failed to pay its second bank guarantee of Rs 350 crore due on November 1st for spectrum acquired in a 2012 auction. This follows a previous missed payment in September. The Department of Telecommunications is considering a proposal to waive bank guarantees for past spectrum auctions, which would primarily benefit the struggling Vodafone Idea. Amazon India is racing to launch its quick commerce delivery service, codenamed TEZ, by late December or early next year, as it looks to join the booming sector that notched up gross sales of about $5 to $5.6 billion this month, led by Blinkit, Zepto, and Swiggy Instamart. The service is expected to initially focus on groceries and daily essentials. Earlier, SEBI removed the requirement for issuers to deposit 1% of the issue size with the stock exchange under the ICDR regulations. Now, SEBI has withdrawn the requirement for a no objection certificate for the release of the 1% deposit. However, exchanges must establish a joint operating procedure for releasing the 1% security deposit deposited by issuers before the amendments to the ICDR regulations. This circular will be effective immediately. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, or ICAI, has officially published the study material under the new scheme of education and training, marking a significant milestone in its ongoing efforts to modernize and enhance the learning experience for aspiring chartered accountants. This update is part of ICAI's commitment to aligning its curriculum with global best practices and evolving industry needs. Students can access the study material by visiting the official ICAI website. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, or ICAI, is drafting guidelines to mandate compulsory qualifications for professionals conducting forensic audits. The ICAI plans to send its proposal to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, detailing criteria such as mandatory qualification of the Forensic Standards course and ICAI membership. At present, there are no qualification criteria for forensic auditors in India. Any company or individual can call themselves a forensic auditor. President-elect Donald Trump announced plans to impose a 25% tariff on all Mexican and Canadian imports and an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods starting January 20th. He cited concerns over illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and accused China of insufficient action in curbing the flow of illicit drugs across the US-Mexico border. Trump has previously pledged to end China's most favored nation trading status and slap tariff on Chinese imports in excess of 60%, much higher than those imposed during his first term. The Employees Provident Fund Organization, or EPFO, is preparing an amnesty scheme for companies evading or defaulting on employee contributions. The scheme, potentially launching alongside employment-linked incentives by year-end 2024, aims to boost enrollments and formalize the workforce. It may waive employee contributions and minimize employer payments for the default period between 2017 and 2024, pending approval. The Hinduja Group is in talks with investors to raise Rs 4,300 crore, which is the second tranche to fund the acquisition of Anil Ambani's financial services company Reliance Capital through the ongoing insolvency resolution process. The first tranche, amounting to Rs 3,000 crore, was raised from Barclays and 361 in September. The second round had been delayed pending approval from the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. The Indian government has launched PAN 2.0, a Rs 1,435 crore initiative to digitize the permanent account number system. This upgrade, including a QR code addition, will be free and won't require reapplication. The project aims to streamline processes, improve data consistency, and enhance security while remaining eco-friendly. Existing PAN cards remain valid. The Income Tax Department has issued a circular revising the time frame for taxpayers to claim refunds for old returns. The period previously set at 6 years has now been reduced to 5 years from the last date of filing the return for the relevant financial year. The reduced refund claim period aligns with the government's broader goal of improving the effectiveness and responsiveness of tax administration. This change will not only enhance operational efficiency but also encourage taxpayers to adhere to statutory timelines, ultimately fostering a more disciplined tax ecosystem. The Insurance Amendment Bill, which proposes 100% foreign direct investment in the sector, among other liberalization measures, will be introduced after a nod from the highest level. The government may want to push the Banking Laws Amendment Bill through before taking up the Insurance Amendment Bill. The bill proposes to raise the FDI limit to 100% from 74%, lower capital requirements besides introducing a composite license for companies to offer life, non-life and health products. The bill aims to increase insurance coverage in India. The proposed amendments also focuses on enhancing the financial security of policyholders, promoting their interests, improving returns to them, and facilitating the entry of more players in the insurance market, bolstering economic growth and employment generation. Consumer goods companies are experiencing higher profits through quick commerce compared to traditional channels. This is due to increased sales of premium products, lower distribution costs, and shorter credit periods. Companies are directly supplying quick commerce platforms, bypassing distributors, leading to improved margins and efficient inventory management. India's 5G market is booming, with projections of 270 million subscribers by 2024 and a staggering 970 million by 2030. This growth fuels investment from telecom giants like Jio and Airtel, while 4G subscriptions decline. Data consumption is also surging, with Indians averaging 32 GB per month in 2024, rising to 66 GB by 2030, exceeding global averages. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, or ICAI, through its Committee on AI in ICAI, launched CAGPT Industry Forum, comprising of annual reports of 5,000 listed companies for the fiscal year 23-24. This historic development was officially unveiled during a global live webinar held on 24th November 2024, which was attended by over 10,000 chartered accountants from across the globe. This powerful GPT integrates approximately 5,000 listed companies' annual reports into the ICAI CAGPT platform, enabling chartered accountants to access and analyze financial data with unprecedented ease. The reports, covering a wide spectrum of industries, are now seamlessly integrated into over 70 GPTs across various industries, empowering professionals to perform complex financial analysis with a single click. SEBI has issued certain guidelines to stock exchanges, clearing corporations, and depositories, or MIIs. As per the guidelines, MIIs must resolve whistleblower complaints within 60 days of receiving them. The audit committee must receive and investigate the whistleblower complaints. Further, MIIs must adopt advanced technologies such as regulatory technologies and supervisory technologies to strengthen their regulatory and supervision mechanisms. LIC plans to buy half of Manipal Cigna health insurance. The deal could be worth Rs 4,000 crore. This move will let LIC enter the health insurance market. Manipal Cigna is a joint venture between Manipal Group and Cigna Corporation. Both will reduce their stakes if the deal happens. LIC's managing director hinted at this acquisition during an earnings call. Mall developers are reducing multiplex spaces in future projects due to declining footfall and revenues. Multiplexes now contribute only 6 to 7% of mall traffic compared to 10% previously. The rise of OTT platforms and a lack of compelling content are cited as key reasons, prompting developers to allocate more space to other entertainment and F&B options. The Capital Market Regulator, or SEBI, has asked fund house and portfolio management firms to disclose the number of high-risk individual clients, investors from grey-listed countries, the number of dodgy actors whose accounts were frozen, and whether they encountered issues or challenges in imposing a freeze order. The market intermediaries will have to submit the data along with a slew of other information to the regulator by November 30th. They have to also share the number of offshore clients, investors who had been pulled up by the regulator in the past 2 years, and those against whom orders have been issued by other agencies or were in the news for any financial scam. Financial market regulators have been extra vigilant over the last 18 months, assessing the type of investors and color of money in the wake of the review by the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, the international organization to combat money laundering. Avium India Housing Finance is under investigation for potential fraud after the National Housing Bank discovered inflated mutual fund investments. The company, backed by Nuveen and Gojo & Co., informed lenders of a cash crunch and delayed payments, citing discrepancies in their books and sticky receivables. A forensic audit is underway, and Avium is exploring options for raising additional capital. National Housing Bank, a quasi-housing finance regulator, has appointed consulting firm EY India to conduct a forensic audit on the housing finance company, which is focused on women borrowers availing of loans ranging from Rs 1 lakh to Rs 5 lakh. The National Financial Reporting Authority, or NFRA, in its 19th meeting recommended 40 standards on auditing and related standards on quality management for LLP audits under Section 34A of the LLP Amendment Act 2021. These standards, finalized in its earlier meeting, will apply to LLPs on a mutatis mutandis basis. Upon the approval of the central government, these standards are recommended to be effective from 1st April 2026. Despite US bribery charges against Gautam Adani, Japan's biggest banks, including Mizuho, Sumitomo Mitsui, and Mitsubishi UFJ, plan to maintain their support for the Indian conglomerate. While some global banks reassess their exposure, Japanese lenders, citing steady cash generative assets, remain confident in Adani's ability to repay borrowings. Narayana Healthcare, led by Devi Shetty, is in advanced talks to acquire a controlling stake in Spire Healthcare Group amid a surge in the UK's private healthcare demand. The Indian medical group aims to secure a 51 to 75% stake, potentially taking the company private, leveraging positive shareholder sentiments and global financing. Bengaluru-based Narayana, with a market capitalization of Rs 25,500 crore, is already working with advisors to build a strategy to win over shareholders. It has also sounded out global banks and financial institutions for a $500 to $600 million funding. Shetty and his family members, along with promoter group entities, own 63.85% of the 24-year-old company. The plan is to take control of at least 51% of Spire by launching an open offer. If Narayana manages to take this up to around 75%, it may even consider taking the company private. LG Electronics seems to have inadvertently taken more than a leaf out of Hyundai Motors' book. The consumer electronics company is studying the India market for an initial public offering, following in the footsteps of Hyundai Motor India or HMIL, which listed last month. Possibly toward this end, LG Electronics India has created an investor relations section on its local website. With both having South Korean parents, there are undoubtedly a lot of similarities in the process to be followed. But it so happens that the LG Investor Relations section has been populated with information related to HMIL, at least at the time of filing the story. Cut and paste wasn't followed by search and replace, it appears. Private sector banks led by HDFC Bank have sold nearly Rs 40,000 crore of loans this fiscal to enhance liquidity and balance their books amid slow deposit growth. This marks a significant shift as banks like HDFC Bank, IDFC First Bank and RBL Bank use loan sales via pass-through certificates and direct assignments to manage credit deposit ratios effectively. India has initiated its first auction for offshore mineral blocks, including construction sand, lime mud, and polymetallic nodules and crusts in the Arabian Sea and Andaman Sea. The event saw participation from international representatives and potential bidders who can submit bids by February 2025 end. India plans to launch a national critical mineral mission to bolster supply chains. SEBI has introduced mark-to-market basis valuation for repurchase transactions with a tenor of up to 30 days by mutual funds. This is done to ensure uniformity in the valuation methodology of all money market and debt instruments and address concerns of unintended regulatory arbitrage that may arise due to different valuation methodologies adopted. Further, the valuation of all repo transactions, except for overnight repos, in addition to the valuation of money market and debt securities, must be obtained from valuation agencies. The circular shall be effective from January 1st, 2025. The Department of Telecommunications has softened the bank guarantee waiver rules for spectrum auctions held before 2022, easing the financial burden on telecom companies, including Vodafone Idea. Telecom operators can now avoid paying an additional amount for 3 months in advance. This change is expected to help Vodafone Idea secure more credit and improve its financial position. India's economic growth slowed to 5.4% in the second quarter of financial year 25. This decline is from 7.6% last year and 6.7% in the first quarter. Economists cite weaker consumption and bad weather as reasons. Retail food inflation surged and corporate earnings fell. The RBI maintained its growth forecast but showed caution due to inflation. Government officials and analysts expect a gradual economic recovery in the later half of financial year 25, driven by increased state spending following elections and improved rural demand after a favorable harvest. Construction activity and service sector momentum are also anticipated to support growth. India's growth trajectory in the coming months will depend on managing inflationary pressures and reviving consumption to stabilize the economic momentum. The compensation paid by Global Capability Centers or GCCs is expected to be over 50% more than the remuneration paid out by other sectors in the software development domain in 2024-25. GCCs are expected to outpace information technology products and services and non-tech sectors in compensation, particularly in critical domains such as software development and cybersecurity. An analysis by Team Lease Digital showed. Early-stage venture capital firm Stellaris Venture Partners, which has invested in startups such as Mamaearth parent Honasa Consumers and Whatfix, has closed its third fund of $300 million. Over the next 3 years, the new fund will invest in 25 to 30 startups in seed or Series A stages in consumer tech, artificial intelligence, software as service, and financial services. With the launch of this new fund, Stellaris has more than $600 million in assets under management. Fund 3 saw repeat investments from existing limited partners as well as new commitments from global investors such as university endowments, foundations, pension funds, and fund of funds. Cross-border investments are now a crucial component of family offices' business strategies as they increase their global presence. To diversify their portfolios and pursue greater returns, these organizations are increasingly moving outside their home markets with a projected $5.9 trillion in assets under administration globally as of 2024. Cross-border ventures, however, come with several challenges from complex legal frameworks to volatile exchange rates and geopolitical unpredictability. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.